So, Wolverine by Insomniac finally has a release date, a new gameplay trailer, and most importantly, it shows off some costumes. And this begs the question, what other kinds of costumes are going to be in the game? So I decided to go over a list of different Wolverine costumes and variants and everything in order to see what kind of suits they should add and how high of a chance that they have of being added. So I'm Mr. Gear, and I like comic books. And Wolverine is a pretty cool comic book character that has had over 50 plus years worth of costumes to look from, so we're going to do exactly what I just said. First up, we have the classic Tiger Stripe from the Giant Size X-Men number 1, released in 1975. This is an obvious pick. They gotta have this because this is the Wolverine suit. Every other Wolverine suit past this one has been trying to use this as a template. They either go all in and to try and modify or at least learn from this one, or they just do something completely different that doesn't look recognizable towards this one. And this is definitely something that they gotta have, because if they don't have this, then they miss out. They are just stupid. Next up, we have the movie suit. And I feel like they're definitely gonna be using the one from the first Bryan Singer X-Men movie, released in the early 2000s, back when black leather was a big choice towards them, because every superhero movie at the time hated using colorful costumes except Spider-Man. I feel like this is definitely one that they're gonna add, because they added all these movie suits to the Spider-Man games, and it would feel really weird for them to leave out the Wolverine game and not have the movie suit, which also had a big impact on the X-Men and their popularity, especially Wolverine, because he was the main character in most of those movies. Next up, we have the X-Force suit. Now, X-Force is more like at least in this one, first appearing in X-Force Volume 3, Number 1, 2008, this was a suit meant for Black Ops stealth missions and everything, where the team that Wolverine was on would do more violent missions that people like Cyclops wouldn't necessarily do. And I feel like this is definitely another one that they would add, because this has been a popular version of an alternate costume that they would add into video games. And it's very simple, because it's mainly just a black and gray recolor with red eyes, while also having slightly different gloves and boots. This is definitely a costume that they'll add for sure. Next up, Weapon X. This was a very, very important part of his history, and every Wolverine game has got to have Weapon X. Every game with Wolverine should have Weapon X as an alternate costume. There's no way that they'll just have something for Wolverine and not have this, because this showed up back in 1991, released chronologically in 1991, issue 72, and this is also a really popular choice because of how important to his history it is. This is a no-brainer. Next up, the Ultimate X-Men from the Earth 1610, not the other one. This is most likely will be the more unified version, like the second and third variants of it, and not the first. But the first variant at least showed up in Ultimate X-Men issue 1, released in 2001. I feel like this is definitely going to be a costume they would add, because they love using this one, at least during the 2000s when it came to marketing for certain things, because this was a popular costume on everything back when Wolverine was part of the big three of Marvel, and I feel like that this would definitely be a good choice to add. Next up is the other Ultimate Universe from Earth 6160, the Ultimate Winter Soldier / Wolverine variant. This is self-explanatory. This one, he's the Winter Soldier in this universe instead of just Wolverine. And this first appeared in Ultimate Universe 1 year in, released in 2024, and I feel like this costume is already popular enough that it's going to be in this game, especially since Marvel Rivals, added this costume into the game, and this definitely is a pretty cool costume. I feel like this would definitely fit into the game, and I think this is definitely a costume worth putting in, with the red star on the front and everything, and the mask. That's really good. Next up, we have Madripoor Black Suit. Now, at the time when Wolverine went to Madripoor back in like 1988, he was presumed dead for the most part, and so that led to him, going undercover in this fictional island nation called Madripoor, where he actually got to use his patch disguise for his social events and everything. But when he needed to go do like stealth missions and everything, he wore this black suit with black paint on his face and everything. And I feel like if they're going to be adding patch and we're going to be going to Madripoor in this game, then we're probably going to see the black suit as well with the black face paint. I just feel like that's a missed opportunity if you don't have that. Astonishing X-Men. This suit was made for the Astonishing X-Men run back in 2004, appeared in issue 1 of that comic, and this is also a really good version of basically the template that was set by Giant Size X-Men's Tiger Stripe, and just makes it into an all yellow and blue one. And this was his definitive look during the early to late 2000s. I feel like this would be a no-brainer to add because this is just as good as his Tiger Stripe. Next up, we have the suits that I think have a high chance, but I'm not 100% sure that they're going to be adding it into the game. First up, we have the suit from X-Men Evolution. This is a revamped one made for the show released in 2000, and I like this suit. It's a very nice combination of orange and black, where it's definitely a revamped new take on Wolverine, but it's still got the makings of Wolverine. And this is just a very good and simple design, and I feel like it would be a missed opportunity to add this one. I'm not 100% sure they'll add it because they didn't add Spider-Man Unlimited into the Spider-Man 2, even though that was one of my most highly requested suits that I wanted for that game. It's mainly just because it's animated. It's like from a cartoon, and they didn't really do any of the cartoon stuff as much as they did the movies, so that's why it's not 100%. Next up, we have the Fantastic Four suit. Now, there has been more than one look for Wolverine in the Fantastic Four, but I think they're going to be going towards the one from Fantastic Four number 21 in 2024, like they did with Spider-Man, because they used that version in Spider-Man 2 as a Fantastic Four suit. And I feel like if they do that and add a Fantastic Four suit, they're going to use this one. So that's most likely going to be added. Next up, we have the Alex Ross concept. This was a series of redesigns that Alex Ross made of the X-Men at the time when there was talk of a potential relaunch, and he made these before Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely took over and made new X-Men. But I think this suit would look really cool in-game, and I think the orange X on the front really is stand out with all the black around it, and this is also a really cool one that I think people would want to see. Next up, Wolverine. Technically, Wolverine is mostly associated with his son Daken, but first there was the variant that I'm talking about with the fiery skull and everything. First appeared in Ghost Rider Wolverine Weapons of Vengeance, released in 2023. Now, this was when Wolverine at the time was possessed by a demon named Bagra Ghul and was just killing on orders of this demon, and was given basically Hellspawn powers for a time until Ghost Rider stepped in and helped him just release that and everything. And I feel like this is also a really good pick if they decided to do this, because they did Ghost Spider in the first Spider-Man game, and that was a really cool pick. I feel like this would be a missed opportunity to not include the character having a giant flaming skull and everything, because that would look really awesome. Next up is the Feral Mutation. The Feral Mutation was a more controversial aspect of Wolverine's history that he underwent after Magneto removed his skeleton, the adamantium from his skeleton, in X-Men number 25 from 1993, and due to that, his body went into overdrive and accelerated his mutation because it was apparently suppressed by the adamantium, and he just became more feral and more animalistic. He even lost his nose for a while, which is weird. But he's mainly associated with the bone claws and this bandana that he wears. And even X-Men 97 is going to explore that aspect in season 2. And I think that this would be an interesting one to add, mainly because of how this is kind of like grown on me. You know, it's definitely an interesting one. Next up, we have the Fang costume, which is a costume that he stole from an alien named Fang. Back when the X-Men were traveling through space and everything, and dealing with all the Phoenix stuff. And this suit, he wore it in like X-Men number 107, and I think this would be a costume that would be alright to have. It's not like a really big costume that I want in the game, but I wouldn't mind having it just to be looking at, you know, some of the more interesting outfits that he's had. And I think if they do it right, it could look good in game, because I'm gonna be honest, this kind of looks goofy at times, but you know, it's whatever. Next up, we have the X-Men training uniform. This was a uniform that X-Men members wore in order to make the team look more consistent as you know, a team and everything, so they decided to give everyone matching uniforms. This showed up in, or at least it made a debut for Wolverine in Uncanny X-Men number 275 in 1991, and I think that this is a pretty good suit. I think they should add this one, and I really like the designs of the yellow and blue segments being more unified like everyone else, and I think this outfit works no matter what character you put it on in the X-Men, and it especially looks good in Wolverine. Next up, we have the, I can't remember if this is called the Albation or the Ablation suit, I can't remember. This is an armored suit that was meant to protect him after he contracted a virus that negated his healing factor, so he needed to be protected and couldn't use his claws, so they just had, you know, wrist-mounted gauntlets that gave him claws and everything. And this showed up in Wolverine number 1 back in 2013. I feel like this would be a suit that they would add regardless. I mean, it looks fine, but I don't really care much for it. But I feel like they would add this. So this is definitely a probably type of suit. Days of Future Past. This was a variant of a different timeline. You know, it's one of the more notable X-Men, you know, events that involves time travel and everything. And I say probably instead of definitely because we already see him in the trailer wearing a very similar outfit with the jacket, the jeans, and everything, but especially the jacket. So I'm not sure if they actually are going to be doing this, but if they do add this, it would be pretty cool to see the model being tweaked a bit, you know, giving him those white streaks on his hair, giving him some wrinkles and everything. But you know, this first appeared in Uncanny X-Men number 141 back in 1981, and I feel like they should add this, but they probably might not. But there's still a chance they will. Next up, the Phoenix Force. With how prevalent Jean Grey is going to be in this game, I feel like they might add a Phoenix Force skin. And they're probably going to be adding the one shown in Avengers 2018 number 42. And this is definitely a skin that they would choose over any other version, as this costume was also added in Marvel Rivals. I feel like this is definitely a suit that they would add if they decided to make a Phoenix skin. Next up, we have Omega Wolverine. Omega Wolverine was from an alternate Earth timeline where Wolverine has to travel through time in order to find Moira MacTaggert and prevent her from destroying Krakoa after she defected. And this version was infected with a techno-organic virus that makes him a cyborg. He first appeared in X Deaths of Wolverine number 1 back in 2022, and he's, you know, mainly got a gold and black color scheme with all this techno stuff patterns on his arms and stuff, and I think it looks pretty cool. I think this would be a very good suit to add if you wanted an alternate costume in order to, you know, fill out the costume space. I think that if you made it glow, that would be even better. Next up, we have the Horsemen of Death. This was when Wolverine was captured by Apocalypse and was forced to fight Sabretooth for the role of Horseman, and he succeeded because he didn't want Sabretooth to become even more of a danger than he was already. And not only did he get to wear some new armor that looked really cool, but he also got the adamantium bonded to his skeleton again, which turned him back into normal. And this first appeared in Astonishing X-Men Volume 2, Number 1, back in 1999. And I feel like they should add this, but I'm not 100% sure because this version of Wolverine has like big bulky armor, and I don't know if they are willing to add big bulky armor with a scarf and everything, and even a sword as an accessory. But this would be a pretty cool skin to add, because he just looks awesome in it. Next up, we have Team X. Now, I heard that Team X was already mentioned in the game, and if the leaks were anything to go by, there's gonna be some flashbacks to his time working with Mystique and Sabretooth and everyone. So that's probably the Team X he was referring to. But originally, Team X was a Black Ops team that he was on before around the 1960s, before he was captured by the Weapon X program. And technically, this costume appeared in Wolverine Volume 2, number 48, but those were false memories, with the real appearance being in the following issue, number 49, and the first named appearance of the team being in X-Men Volume 2, number 5, and all of these were in 1991. I say this is probably going to be added because, they all have very tactical looking costumes, and the suit itself is a very tactical black and yellow costume. So I feel like they would add this, but I'm not 100% sure. Next up, 2099. And this variant specifically comes from Annihilation 2099, number 1, released in 2024, where this was a future where Wolverine is actually Nova, and he's the only member left of the Nova Corps, and he has the power of the Nova Force, along with his mutant powers. And I feel like this would be a very cool thing to add, and if they would also be, a good chance to add some 2099 costumes into the roster, like they did with Spider-Man. Although with Spider-Man, it's not as important as it is because this is a fairly recent one, but I think this would be a really cool one to add. Next up, we have the Fear Itself suit. Now, this was around the Fear Itself event. First appeared in Fear Itself number 7 around 2011. This was a enchanted gear that was given to him in order to fight a group called the Worthy, and so him and all the other people that was with him, including Spider-Man, got enchanted as Guardian gear. They increased their powers and to go fight them. I think if they added, if they decided to add Fear Itself back in Spider-Man 1, I think they should add this one because it just looks way cooler than the other one, which just looked like a bright blue and slightly gray-black costume for Spider-Man, which is kind of underwhelming for Asgardian gear. But this looks like an Asgardian powered Wolverine, and I think that's really cool. Next up, we have House of M. This specific version was part of an alternate Earth ruled by mutants and everything. Magneto's the ruler of the world. Humans are the minority. Logan serves a specialist group that does Black Ops missions for Magneto's mutant empire and all that. Blah blah blah. I forgot what year this came out, but in the actual Earth House of M event, you didn't actually see this Wolverine's past because he gets hijacked. His life gets hijacked by 616 after Wanda's brain reality warping. But there is a comic where it goes over that specific Wolverine's past and everything, and he has a really cool uniform. I like this one. I think this would be a really good choice for them to add as well because of this tactical / royal looking uniform with the color scheme and everything. Very good patterns. I like it. Next up, we have a symbiote costume. The idea of a symbiote costume would definitely be something they would add, but I don't know what type of symbiote they would add. I don't think they necessarily would add the Web of Shadows variant because that's from a video game that came out in 2008. So they probably would just go with either an original design or something similar to what was seen in the comics. But I think they could add a symbiote costume after Spider-Man 2 and everything used all the symbiote stuff. So I wouldn't mind it, but I just don't know what type they would use. Now we're gonna go over costumes that they probably won't use. It's not like, oh, they definitely will use it. It's just like they most likely won't use it and everything. And the first one that I'm gonna be talking about is the adamantium armor. This was a suit comprised of adamantium made by Forge for Wolverine in case of doomsday scenarios where his powers wouldn't work. And it was mentioned in a previous story, but it made a full first appearance in Wolverine number 7, or not number 7, volume 7, number 48 in 2024. And I say probably not because, if I'm being honest, this thing looks kind of ass. I think that it's just too bulky and everything. The patterns don't look good, and I think in game it would probably look way too shiny because it's made of metal. It's an all metal suit meant to be around him. And I saw someone years ago on Twitter make a joke about how he would make this suit as like an anti-Sabretooth suit after encountering him for the first time in his 8-year career or something. And I thought that was funny, but I don't think that they're going to be adding this one. But there might be a chance, but I don't think they should. They're probably not going to add this. Days of Future Now. This is a suit from the comic miniseries Weapon X Days of Future Now, where it was basically an alternate version of the events that happened in Days of Future Past, where instead of Days of Future Past, you got something worse. And there are multiple costumes within this comic. Even though this is only 5 issues long, this miniseries has multiple different costumes that Wolverine just wears. And this comic had like a new one appear in issue 3 in 2005, but because they had the classic one, but that got damaged. So he wore a new one in issue 3 and onward. And he wore multiple new ones, which is weird that they couldn't stay consistent. I don't think that they're going to be adding this one because this comic is not only so minuscule and obscure because this was a 5-issue miniseries that no one liked. It's also from the fact that this comic is not very good. But I do like some of these costumes that show up, and I wouldn't mind if they showed this in the game. Another suit that's probably not going to be put into the game is the tactical black suit. This was a suit worn by Wolverine temporarily when he was trying to find the villain named Typhoid Mary. And this suit first appeared in Marvel Comics Presents number 150. This is just a black suit that he wore. It's not even an interesting black suit. This is just a simple one. And I don't think that they'll add this because he never wore this ever again after the Typhoid Mary stuff. Next up, we have Age of Ultron. This showed up in Avengers Volume 4, number 12.1 back in 2011. And this suit is a very simple one. It's mainly black with some lines and everything, and it has bits of yellow in it. It has a yellow hood and yellow stripes on the shoulders. This is a very simple costume, but it's also not an interesting one. I don't think that they would add this, because he just doesn't look that interesting in this costume, but there is a small chance that they'll add this because they'll probably be looking at stuff to add. Next up, we'll be looking at the suits that they definitely will not add, but I wanted to name them anyway. And the first one is going to be Old Man Phoenix. Old Man Phoenix was the Phoenix skin that I wish that they would add, but they're probably not going to do because 1, he's really old, and 2, this is just a completely different design than what most Wolverine designs are used to, because he's this very powerful old man thing. He's glowing and everything. He's got long hair, skinny limbs, and everything. I mean, this appearance was shown in Marvel Legacy number 1 back in 2017, and this version of Wolverine was basically chosen as a host of the Phoenix Force and is practically immortal. And I don't think that they'll add this over the other one as their Phoenix skin. So, missed opportunity, I guess, for the old man. Next up, Weapon Omega. This most definitely will not be added into the game because this is just the same Age of Apocalypse Wolverine. It's just that he was, in this one, he was given power by the Celestials and was tasked with annihilating the human race or else the Earth would be destroyed. And he technically first appeared in X-Men Alpha #1 back in 1994, but Weapon Omega specifically appeared in X-Force. And he just wouldn't be added, I don't think, because his armor is too big. They already got the weapon, the Age of Apocalypse one, and he also has a wrist. He's supposed to have wrist-mounted, not wrist-mounted. His arm is a gauntlet, and it's supposed to shoot projectiles. And I don't think that they'll add this. Another one that we're going to do that will not be added, most definitely, is Wolverine Pool. This is just an evil variant of Deadpool that has Wolverine's powers and serves the evil Deadpool core. He first appeared in Cable and Deadpool issue number 46 in 2007, and he only made like 3 appearances before he died to flesh-eating bugs that was thrown by Deadpool. He was going to appear in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, but they just scrapped him, and the only thing that's left is concept art. But at least he's being made into an action figure by Hasbro for their Marvel Legends line and Hot Toys as part of their 1/6 collector scale. So that's all the ones that I could find and everything. I know that this video isn't exactly consistent, but I'm mainly just going off script and just listing off stuff that I think would be added and stuff that wouldn't be added. So if you enjoyed this and want to see more videos like this or anything, let me know. Bye.